Hello, everybody! Welcome to Dave TV. Hi. How you doing? This is my camo backpack. See that? Isn't that cool? Hey, everybody! It's hard to get it off though. Oh, ow, ow, ow! Oh, I popped my thumb off. Man, but this is cool. I use it to my little notebook computer there, which I've got all ready to go. So if there's a nuclear attack and the DCRTV World headquarters is nuked, I grab my notebook and I run over to Starbucks across the street and I continue the website. How y'all doing, everybody? It's the 26th of February, and it's snowing again here in the Washington area. But anyhow, some interesting stuff. The mysteries of Cumulus. That's right. Cumulus has a couple radio stations here in the Washington market, including WMAL. WMAL, that kind of hick, right-wing, all-male white station. You know, like that's that station there. And then they got WRQX, which is kind of a floundering adult, what do they call it? Hot adult contemporary station. They jettisoned Jack Diamond last spring, and they haven't recovered in the ratings since. And then they've got 105.9, of course, which is WMAL. WMAL is on 105.9, 630. So anyhow, somebody says, something's got to give. What would we do? What would I do if I was Mark O'Brien? Mark O'Brien runs the Cumulus cluster here, and somebody sent me an email today, and I said, I've said some of this stuff before, but I'm going to emphasize it again, and some interesting ideas there. First off, you take 107.3, okay? 107.3, which is WRQX, all the hits 107.3, floundering in the ratings, but it's an inside the Beltway signal. It's a good signal. So what do you do with it? You put WMAL on 107.3. WMAL FM used to be 107.3 way back in the 60s and early 70s. You put WMAL back on 107.3 because it's an inside the Beltway signal. It covers the whole metro really well. You don't have any weak spots with it. It's a great signal. So it would improve WMAL's FM signal. The same time, you take 105.9. 105.9 is down in Merrifield, Virginia. That's where their transmitters are. They don't cover very well up into the Northeast because they run into 105.7 up in Baltimore. Okay, adjacent channel interference. So they have a great signal to the southwest down into Central Virginia, into Fredericksburg and that area. And Cumulus is looking to cut budgets. They have this Nash country format they're trying in all these different markets. Why not just pipe in the Nash format and put it on 107.9? You got a signal that's probably better than MZQ's signal into Virginia, into Central Virginia, and when you get into Warrenton and Winchester and Fredericksburg, where the 105.9 signal is pretty good, country is the king format, and I think, that would be using 105.9 as a better signal, for country than 107.3 would be. So you save money by putting putting Nash on that format, so you can get rid of all the RQX people, sadly but true. But, I hate saying that because, I like local radio and I like that, but I'm just thinking as a business. I'm thinking as Mark O'Brien. I'm thinking as Lou Dickey here. Okay, so you take WMAL, put them on 107.3. Great inside the Beltway signal. You take the other signal, 105.9, which is now WMAL. You put Nash country on it, so basically your expenses are nil. Then you take 630. What do you do with 630? AM band is practically dead here in the Washington area, but 630 is one of the best, if not the best, AM signal in the market. You make a deal with CBS. Cumulus and CBS are already in bed together on a number of issues. A number of Cumulus stations are already carrying CBS sports radio. So you say to CBS, how'd you like to lease out our 6:30 a.m. signal, CBS? And CBS goes, Steve Swenson goes, Mark, good idea. What could we do with that? WNEW. Ding! Here's WNEW. They're on 99.1 out of, Anne Arundel County, whatever, over there in the Baltimore market. They're trying to cover DC. They need some sort of signal boost in the Western Metro, in the Central Western Metro. What better than 6:30 a.m.? Ding! You have WNEW now, 99.1 and 6:30 a.m. leasing the signal. You don't have to buy it because CBS already has a full complement of stations. You lease it from Cumulus for whatever. There you go. And there you go. So Cumulus basically now is just cut back to really running one station. That's all they have to populate is WMAL. They're putting Nash on 105.9, so that's piped in via the satellite. And then they're leasing out 6:30. So poor old Jennifer Street, there will be a ghost. But anyway, I'm just thinking as a corporate stooge here. I just reported last week that CBS DC is already starting to talk to the folks at CBS Baltimore about promoting WNEW up there in the Charm City market because the ratings actually in that market are getting better. Baltimore doesn't have an all-newser. They have WBAL, which is a news talk station, which does program news blocks in the morning and afternoon, but the rest of the day it's a talk station. So what do you do? So TOP actually gets fairly decent ratings in Baltimore. But you got WNEW almost tied with WTOP in Baltimore. So if you're looking at the WTOP-WNEW battle, it's right there neck and neck in Baltimore. But it's way distant in D.C. I mean, TOP was first and WNEW was 20-something in the latest rating, so it's still a way to go in DC, but that's what WNEW needs is some sort of signal strength multiplier or whatever. And I think that would be a cool deal. I think it would be corporate-wise a win-win for Cumulus and a win-win for CBS. Hey! And it would be a win for WMAL because it'd get them a better signal. So I don't know. That's the interesting idea that we're floating around today, and so I thought I'd mention it. And see what happens. Looking at the trends, we got the first inkling radio numbers for February the other day, and I'm looking at the money demo 2554, and not a lot of changes. Hot 99.5's at the top, TOP's number 2, HUR is 3rd, AMU is 4th for the full day, MMJ. PGC is starting to show a little life. I have to say, PGC is starting to bounce up a little bit. It's funny now that Jason Kidd left. Steve Davis from Fresh is now running the station, or at least programming it, and they're actually starting to show a little bit of life there. Interesting. But the problem is Steve's other station, Fresh 94.7, is kind of slumping. So up with one, down with the other. It's kind of like pushing balloons in a big barrel vat with water in it. You push down on one, the other one pops up. It's like, I don't know. But PGC is starting to show a little life now in the top 10 anyway. So CBS can at least not be totally embarrassed by having 5 major FMers in the Washington market and having none of them in the top 10. Wash is showing a little bit of weakness these days, too. They're down to 8th place. I don't know. I think they need a little bit of freshening up. More. I think that's more rumblings that we might see Jack Diamond there. That would give Wash a big boost. Say this spring. We love Lou, but we're moving Lou to middays, and we're putting Jack Diamond is back in a huge campaign. That would really boost Wash's numbers. It's still getting pretty good ratings, but there is a little bit of a slump there. I wouldn't be surprised to see Wash and Jack Diamond get together this spring. Mark my words. DC 101 also in 8th place there. Big in 8th place. What are these? Wait a minute. Let me look at these numbers here. Where are they? Something like that. I'm looking at the wrong number. I'm looking at the wrong numbers. So let's go back. Let's go back and see. Okay, I'm looking at the right numbers here. So yeah. Okay, Wash was 7th place. Wash is 7th, but that's still 8th place. It's still, they should be up there in the top 3 or so. So PGC is 6th place. So that's pretty good for them. Okay, and WWDC in 8th place. Big in 9th. GTS in 10th. This is for the first week of February. MZQ, KYS, LZ. Elzal's doing okay. 13th place. MAL, 14th place. But you do better on 107.3. Tied with Fresh in 14th place. JFK's in 16th place. Praise in 17th. The RQX in 18th. TEM in 19th. Trends. Wava is actually being up a little bit. I wonder what's interesting. They're up to 22nd place. They were like 35th place back in December. Ooh. But NEW. Okay, let's look at NEW. 25th place in the money demo. They were 31st back in December. Then they went up to 28th, and they went up to 23rd there during the holiday period. And then they kind of stayed 23rd up through early January, and then they bounced back down to 31st in mid-January, and now they're back at 25th. So, again, a little bits of ups and downs for them, but nothing significant. Here's an interesting one, WTNT, which never ever showed up in the ratings when they were doing Righty Talk, is now 25th place, tied with WNEW, now that they've got their Spanish format on there. So, hey, that was a good move for them. WTNT 730 AM 1029 FM, 25th place with that new Spanish format. And their sister station, WKDV in Manassas, is 28th. That's AM 1460 and FM 1063. So those two stations, El Zol's 1079 Signal, which is the big Spanish station in town, CBS's, doesn't get a very good coverage into parts of Northern Virginia. So those two Northern Virginia signals, TNT and KDV, are kind of taking away some of their luster here in Northern Virginia, wouldn't you say? All right, folks. Any other big news to report? Mort. Scott Shannon. Remember Scott Shannon? Scott Shannon used to be at PGC many years. Then back in the 80s, he ran the station and all that, kind of a Don Geronimo-ish kind of guy with that voice, Scott Shannon. And then he went up to New York, and for many years has been doing that morning show on WPLJ, which is a Cumulus station, kind of like RQX. And then he left there a couple weeks ago, and now the big news up in New York is that he's going to be doing mornings on WCBS FM, which is their classic hit station for CBS. So there you go. Scott Shannon just keeps on trucking, doesn't he? Mornings on WCBS. You can listen to them on the intraweb. If you go to, I don't know what their website is, just Google WCBS FM, and you will find them. All right, folks, that's my Dave TV for today, the 26th. Isn't there something else I was going to say? I don't know. I say I should make a list. Make a list. Anyhow, thanks for watching Dave TV for the 26th of February, 2014. Book 'em, Dano.